Welcome everybody to the 33rd, is it the 33rd? Or maybe the 32nd, I'll need to check on that episode of the Advanced Dungeons and Dynamics 365 bare bones configuration live stream, where we're going out and we're configuring Dynamics 365 finance and operations from the ground up, and we're doing that in for the Waterdeep Trading Company, the purveyor of the finest adventuring gear in all of Faerûn. So that's a long introduction, but what we're doing is we're showing you how to set up all of the different parts of Dynamics 365 to get like a little bit of a base system running, and we're doing it in a step-by-step method so that you can follow along within each lab in bite-sized sort of 30-minute increments as we go through and do that. So what we're doing today is we actually, for the past, I'm not quite sure how many episodes, we've been working through accounts receivable, and today we're probably going to finish the last module in accounts receivables and finish it off, and then in the next set of live streams we're going to move on to accounts payable. But what we're going to do is we're going to finish off the deductions management. And in the previous live stream, what we did is we created all the deduction codes that we were doing. And for those of you that don't know what deduction management is, that's where a customer pays an invoice, but they deduct something from it. And what that creates is a deduction that needs to be researched. And so we're going to actually show you how that's done and how that gets completed in the system. So let's, without more ado, let's go out and start looking at that. So what we've got is we've got our lab environment. So if you want a lab environment like that, then just call us, and we can help you get one of these, or host it yourself, because you can do that with the virtual machines that you can download from Lifecycle Services while it's still there. But what we did is we went and we set up a lot of the deduction management. And even though we're talking about accounts receivable, a lot of these all this deduction sort of management is part of code that sort of exists in sales and marketing. So it really should be in accounts receivable, but that's just where it landed. So we've got all these deduction codes that we're managing in the system. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to follow through the bare bones configuration guides that we've built to give you these step-by-step instructions. And what we've got is we've worked through almost all of this. So there's only really one area that's left, which is the customer payments and deductions that we're going to manage through this. And full transparency, it's been a while since I've done this, so we'll probably be relearning together how we go out and set this up. But what we're going to do, we went out and we set up the journal name and the deduction types and reason codes and write-off codes. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move over to the actual transaction portion. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an invoice for a customer, and then we're going to short pay it. So this is the whole idea of this deduction management. And now that we've got all the configurations set up, then we can do that. So we'll start off, just to give you an idea, we'll just create a free text invoice like we've done in the past in some of the earlier sections. And then we'll go out and we'll create that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a customer payment journal. So we've already done this in earlier episodes, but this is going to be a little bit different. What we're going to do is we're going to, as we create the journal, then we're going to short pay it. And then we're going to create a customer deduction. And then once we've done that, then we'll move on to the deduction workbench and work through it. So this is a little bit more involved than what we've been doing in the past, because there's going to be a couple of steps that we're going to run through this. So let's let's start this adventure and we'll see how far we get. And if this works, this works. If this doesn't, then we'll move on to accounts payable. Accounts payable. So what we want to do is we want to go out and find a customer, and we're going to use the customers to create our invoice. So let's select one of our customers. So we've got a couple here. Let's choose the Stalwart Stag Outfitters, one of the minor wholesale distributors in Faerûnian and the Waterdeep, that Waterdeep Trading Company services. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a free text invoice. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's see if we can find so let's see, let's do a miscellaneous. So we're just going to charge them a miscellaneous charge. I should be setting this up to have consulting services, but we don't actually have that set up. And what we're going to do is we're going to say this is going to be for consulting services. And let's say that we charge them 8 hours worth of work. And our consulting is let's say it's 10. Let's do 120, 126, 12.6. So I'm trying to do the math in my head. So we're going to do it's 12.6 Faerûnian standard dollars, I think. So that's what we've got here. So I'm doing that because the Faerûnian standard dollar, 12.6 Faerûnian standard dollars is a gold piece. So it's really 1 gold piece an hour that we're working here. And we're going to create this, and we're just going to post it. We're going to update this. So so now we've got our invoice in the system, and I'm just going to get out my sticky notes. And this is for 100.8 Faerûnian standard dollars. So this is the first step that we've got here with the accounting. So now that we've done that, let me find my mouse. Then now that we've got our invoice, then what we're going to do is we're going to create our payment journal. So we're going to go to the customer payments journal, and we're going to create a new customer payment. And we'll create the customer payment here. And then what we're going to do is let's do this another way that we've got here. And so this is going to be for the Stalwart Stag. And then this is going to be for the invoice that we just entered for 100.8 Faerûnian standard dollars. And now what we're going to do is, let's see. Let me do this a different way. Let me delete this transaction. Let's just refresh this page. So we've got our customer payment here. I'm going to do this the normal way that we want to do this. So let's just hide that. So I'm going to use the enter customer transactions. And then I'm going to choose the Stalwart Stag here. And I'm going to select this invoice, and it's for $108. And we're going to create a deposit slip. And this is check Stalwart Stag. But what we're going to do is we're going to make this a cash payment. Let's try the cash for now. And it's going to go into our cash account. And then, but what we're going to do is I'm going to set this amount to, let's say, 90.8. So we're not going to pay the full amount that's here. And then I'm just going to say, save this in the journal. So now what we're going to do, now that we've got that, if we return back here and go to the lines for our journal, then we've got a, let's see if I'm doing this 1560. I'm just looking back. Okay, so we've got our payment here for 90.8 Faerûnian standard dollars. And I'm trying to make sure I do this correctly here. So we've got a mismatch between what the customer owes and then what we're deducting. So if we just ran through this right now, then what we're going to do is there's going to be a 10 Faerûnian standard dollars on the account for that customer. But what they're doing is they're saying that they're maybe taking a discount or taking some sort of deduction. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and click on the deductions. And we're going to create a new deduction here. And the deduction type is going to be, let's say that we offer them an admin deduction. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say that this was for 10 Faerûnian standard dollars. And Greta Ironfist, the owner of the What Deep Trading Company, is approving this, and we'll just save this. So now if I save that, then what we'll see is that the journal amount, if we let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger here for everyone. The journal amount is for $100.8, but the line amount is for $90. So what we've got is we've got these two items that are showing up and they're connected to each other. So we've got this deduction associated with the invoice. So this is, now that we've done this, then we've actually cleared out the outstanding amount that's associated with the customer account. So if we go up here and if I duplicate this, and if we go and let's go over here to the customers and we'll look at store stag. So, and then if we go out and look at the transactions, then there's still this outstanding invoice amount for $100.8. So now if we go back and if we, what we want to do is we want to post this. So if everything is lining up, which it should, then this has actually gone out and has posted the voucher for the $90 that they paid, and then the $10 of the deduction that they claimed. And if I go back here, and if I refresh the customer vouchers, then on the customer account, we've now got the amount that's here of, so we've got our customer invoice for $100.8, but we've got a balance of zero because it's being offset by this payment amount and the deduction that was created. So now if we go out and if we look at the aging on here, then there'll actually be no transactions that are open for this customer. So this is all of the administration that the accounts receivable people will do when they perform this receipt. So now that we've done that, now what we want to do is we want to finish this off, because the whole idea is we want to take that 10 Faerûnian standard dollars and move it out into a deduction journal and process it. So what we've got is we've got the deduction management workbench. Let me just check through here. Yeah. So what we've got is we've got the deduction management workbench that we're going to work through. And this is a different workspace that a deduction manager would work through, as opposed to like an accounts receivable clerk that's just recording the payments in the system. So let's go and look at that. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the deduction workbench. We're going to move over here to the sales and marketing, and we're going to go to the trade allowance management, which we've got here. And we're going to go to the deduction workbench, which is here. So I can search through that through the menu, or I can go and do a search through the menu search as well. So one of my favorite areas. So now we've got this $100 that's out there, or $10 that's out there, and everything that needs to be researched is going to show here. So we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to look at this, and we've done our research, and they've taken 10 Faerûnian standard dollars, but we think that they only that they really should only have taken 5. So they still owe us $5 associated with this. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to maintain this, and I'm going to do a split. So this maintain option allows us to work through this deduction workbench, and I'm going to split this. And I'm going to take $5 off. So now we've actually got 2 deductions here. So we've got the first amount, which was $10, with $5 taken off. So there's a remaining amount of $5, and then $5, a new item for $5, which we want to put on their account, and we can see the timestamps associated with this. So now we want to take this, and what we're going to do is I'm going to do 2 things. The first one is let's take the second one. I'm going to deny this deduction. So I'm going to say that this deduction is invalid, or let's say it's an invalid deduction. I don't think we can add any more details there. But what we're going to do is we're going to say this $5 needs to go back on the customer account. So that's gone, and it's taken it off the account. If we go out and if we look at all the transactions, then we'll be able to see that this one is now closed. But they were eligible for another $5. So what we're going to do is we're going to write this off. So we're going to say that this was a promotion, and the writing off is going out and doing the journal postings to go out and sort of clear this out, and then update the ledger with this. So now I've gone out and I've finished off these 2 deductions. I've gone out and I've accepted one, and I've denied another. So once we've done that, then what if I go back to my let's go back to our customer account. So let's go to accounts receivable and to the customers. And let's go to the store stag, and let's go and look at the transactions. Then what we've now got is we've got our customer's free text invoice for 100.8 Faerûnian standard dollars. The payment for $90 and 80 Faerûnian cents. I'm not quite sure what the denomination is. And then we've got $10 that we paid as a deduction, and then we've got $5 coming back on the account for this customer. So if we go over to the, let's go to the thinking. I want to go to the customer age balance. Trying to okay. I want to actually go into the collections area, credit and collections. And if I look at the aged balances, and then what we'll see is we haven't updated the customer account for the store walk stag outfitters. So if I go out and let's look at this. And I think I can go out and let's update the aging. So this is going out and updating the aging for the stalwart stallion. And if I run this, then now they've got a $5 amount due that's on their account. So this $5 has been returned back to their account for the payment. So this ends the deduction management process. But as you can see, it's an added step on the payment process, where we record what the customer actually paid, and then we record how much they didn't pay, and then that allows us to go out and have this difference showing up in the aged balances. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop here. We've finished the accounts receivable. So all of the basic accounts receivable configuration is done. We can go out and we can manage our customers. We can go out and create invoices. We can receive payment. We can look at the agings. We can run collections letters and notifications. We can receive the payment, and we can receive payments with deductions, and then track those within the system, which is pretty good. So we're for the most part, we can do everything we need in the accounts receivable area just for a simple process, and we've set that up from scratch. So we're going to stop here. We're going to we'll stop around about 10 minutes early because we're done. If anyone has any questions about this, then don't hesitate to message me or message us and go through that. If anyone is so excited about this project that they want to help this very bootstrapped training process that we're creating here, or if you want to get hold of these bare bones configuration guides, or if you want to support us on Patreon, then follow the link up there that I've got, or go to patreon.com/ADND365.com. Patreon.com/ADND365. If you want to get the bare bones configuration manuals, then go to ADND365.com/start, and you'll see all of these the new versions of the guide, the 5th edition, filtering through and being updated there, as well as the prior editions, which are still functional but not quite as pretty as the ones that I've just created. So with that said, what we're going to do is we're going to finish the live stream, and I'll meet you on the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.